99% of men are getting this wrong, and it's costing them everything: their confidence, their peace, and even the women they want. But here's the thing: it's not about money, looks, or even charm. It's about something deeper, something ancient, something most men ignore. And if you're ready to hear it, this might just change your life. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, it's never enough? You work hard, you try to be a good guy, you even go out of your way to impress her, but somehow it still feels like you're missing the mark. Here's the truth. It's not about what you're doing, it's about who you're being. And that's where Stoicism comes in. This isn't just some old philosophy for dusty books. This is about becoming the kind of man women respect, admire, and yes, even love. But here's the catch. It's not what you think. It's not about being cold, emotionless, or detached. It's about being grounded. It's about being the rock in the storm. And when you become that, everything changes. Let's break it down. Most men think they need to be louder, bigger, or more aggressive to get a woman's attention. They think they need to prove themselves, to show off, to compete. But here's the reality. Women don't fall for what you do. They fall for who you are. And who you are is defined by one thing: your inner strength. Not the kind of strength that comes from lifting weights or winning arguments. I'm talking about emotional strength. The kind of strength that stays calm in a storm. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that knows its worth without begging for approval. This is where most men fail. They're so busy trying to impress, they forget to focus on what really matters: themselves. They chase external validation instead of building internal confidence, and that's why they lose. But Stoicism flips the script. It's not about chasing, it's about becoming. And when you become the right kind of man, everything else falls into place. Let's start with the basics. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or cold. It's about understanding what you can control and what you can't. And here's the kicker. Most of the things men stress over, they're completely out of their control. Take rejection, for example. Most men fear it. They tie their self-worth to whether or not a woman says yes. But here's the Stoic perspective. Her decision, not in your control. Your reaction, 100% in your control. And that's where your power lies. Let me tell you a story. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, was also the emperor of Rome. He had power, wealth, and status. But you know what he wrote in his personal journal? You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about that for a second. The most powerful man in the world wasn't focused on his empire. He was focused on his mind, because he knew that's where true strength comes from. Now, let's bring this back to relationships. Women are naturally drawn to men who are grounded, men who don't panic when things go wrong, men who don't need constant reassurance. Why? Because that kind of man is rare, and rarity is attractive. But here's the thing, this isn't about pretending to be strong, it's about actually becoming strong. And that starts with understanding the 3 core principles of Stoicism. 1. Control. Focus on what you can control, your actions, your thoughts, your reactions. Let go of what you can't. 2. Virtue. Be a man of integrity. Do the right thing, even when it's hard. 3. Perspective. See challenges as opportunities. Every setback is a chance to grow. Let's break these down one by one. 1. Control. Control is the foundation of Stoicism. It's about understanding what's in your hands and what's not. Most men waste their energy trying to control things they can't, like how someone feels about them or what others think of them. But here's the truth. You can't control that. What you can control is how you show up. Your actions, your mindset, your reactions. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're on a date, you're nervous, and you're trying to say all the right things to impress her. But here's the thing, her reaction? Not in your control. What is in your control? How you act. Are you present? Are you listening? Are you being genuine? When you focus on what you can control, something amazing happens. You stop worrying about the outcome. You stop trying to force things, and instead, you just be. And that's when you're at your best. But this isn't just about dating, it's about life. The more you focus on what you can control, the more power you have, and the less you're affected by what you can't. Let me tell you another story. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, was born a slave. He had no control over his circumstances, but he had control over his mind, and that's what made him free. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that. No matter what life throws at you, you always have a choice. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you sail the ship. And that's the kind of man women are drawn to. A man who doesn't panic when things go wrong. A man who stays calm under pressure. A man who knows his worth isn't tied to external validation. So ask yourself, what are you trying to control that's out of your hands? And what can you focus on instead? Second virtue. Next up, virtue. This is about being a man of integrity, doing the right thing even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. Let's be real. A lot of men think being alpha means being dominant or aggressive, but that's not what true strength is. True strength is about character. It's about being honest, kind, and respectful, not because you want something in return, but because it's who you are. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a relationship. You're tempted to lie about something because you're afraid of how she'll react. But here's the thing, lying might save you in the short term, but it destroys trust in the long term. A Stoic man doesn't lie. He faces the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Why? Because he values integrity over convenience. And that's what builds trust. But this isn't just about relationships, it's about life. Every decision you make either strengthens your character or weakens it. And over time, those decisions define who you are. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." But here's the thing, preparation isn't just about skills or knowledge, it's about character. When you're a man of virtue, you attract the right people. You build meaningful relationships, and you live a life you can be proud of. So, ask yourself, are you living with integrity? Are you doing the right thing, even when it's hard? And if not, what's one small step you can take today to change that? Third, perspective. Finally, let's talk about perspective. This is about seeing challenges as opportunities. Every setback is a chance to grow. Most men see rejection as failure, but here's the Stoic perspective. Rejection isn't failure, it's feedback. It's an opportunity to learn, to improve, to grow. Let me give you an example. Imagine you ask a woman out, and she says no. Most men would take that personally. They'd think, "What's wrong with me?" But a Stoic man thinks differently. He thinks, "What can I learn from this?" Maybe he realizes he needs to work on his confidence. Maybe he realizes he's been approaching relationships the wrong way. Whatever it is, he uses the experience to grow. And that's the key. Life isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them head-on and using them to become stronger. Marcus Aurelius said, "The obstacle is the way." In other words, the challenges you face aren't roadblocks, they're the path. So ask yourself, how are you viewing your challenges? Are you seeing them as obstacles or opportunities? And what's one thing you can learn from your last setback? Fourth, acceptance. Now, let's talk about acceptance. This is one of the most powerful Stoic principles, and it's also one of the hardest to master. Acceptance isn't about giving up or being passive. It's about recognizing reality for what it is and then deciding how to move forward. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a relationship and things aren't going the way you hoped. Maybe she's pulling away, or maybe you're constantly arguing. Most men would try to force things to work. They'd beg, plead, or try to change her. But here's the thing. You can't control her feelings or actions. You can only control your own. A Stoic man accepts the reality of the situation. He doesn't waste energy trying to change what he can't control. Instead, he focuses on what he can do. Maybe that means having an honest conversation. Maybe it means walking away. Whatever it is, he does it with clarity and purpose. But acceptance isn't just about relationships. It's about life. The more you accept what you can't control, the more peace you'll have, and the more energy you'll have to focus on what really matters. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." In other words, do what you can and let go of the rest. So ask yourself, what are you struggling to accept right now? And what would happen if you stopped fighting it and instead focused on what you can control? Fifth, gratitude. Finally, let's talk about gratitude. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Gratitude is about focusing on what you have, not what you lack. And when you do that, something amazing happens. You stop feeling like you're missing something. You start feeling whole. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're single and you're frustrated because you can't find the right person. Most men would focus on what they don't have, a relationship. But a Stoic man focuses on what he does have, his freedom, his independence, his opportunities to grow. When you practice gratitude, you shift your mindset. You stop seeing yourself as incomplete and start seeing yourself as enough. And that's when you become truly attractive. But this isn't just about relationships. It's about life. The more you focus on what you're grateful for, the happier you'll be, and the less you'll feel like you need external validation. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every night about what he was grateful for. Even as emperor, he didn't take anything for granted. He knew that gratitude was the key to contentment. So, ask yourself, what are you grateful for right now, and how can you remind yourself of that every day? Here's the moment of truth. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. And when you live it, something incredible happens. You stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop worrying, and instead, you start attracting. Why? Because women can sense it. They can sense when a man is secure in himself, when he doesn't need her to complete him, when he's already whole. And that's irresistible. But here's the catch. This isn't a quick fix. It's not a pickup line or a trick. It's a transformation, and it starts with you, right now, today. So let's recap. 99% of men ignore this, but women love it. What is it? Inner strength. The kind that comes from Stoicism. The kind that lets you stay calm, confident, and in control, no matter what life throws at you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being grounded. It's not about impressing her. It's about respecting yourself. And when you do that, everything else falls into place. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop chasing and start becoming? Are you ready to be the kind of man women can't ignore? If the answer is yes, then this is your starting point. Hit subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going.